going on, people? It's Mr. Do Daily back again for the first of a regular Monday night chat. Dialing with Des. Myself and Mr. Dore have been talking and thought it'd be a great way to extend the channel, do something on a regular basis. Of course, you've seen me in recent weeks standing in for Dore when he's been busy, when he's got work, when he's got parent duties to do. So we thought we'd make it a bit more of a regular occurrence. Hopefully, you'll enjoy what we do. A little bit different to the normal panel shows. We're looking to invite people to come on, get off the chest, whatever's on their mind. Of course, the first week of the season, the first game of the season was Saturday. So if you want to come in at any point, talk about that, please hit the link in the comments. It'd be fantastic if you can come on tonight and let me know what's on your mind. Like I say, lots to discuss from the weekend. There's also lots of transfer speculation. Anyone who watched DoreOnTour, the review of the Newcastle game, will know we really got stuck into the Morgan Gibbs-White thing. And that seems to be rattling on, doesn't it? Said it last night. It might go up 5 million every day. It seems to be right now. So, yeah, it'd be great to sort of get people on board, have a chat, whatever's on your mind, give you the chance to come in, invite new people in wherever you are, whatever you're doing. That would be absolutely fantastic. Of course, I'll offer my opinion, try and answer as many questions as I can from the comments, and of course, read out as many comments as I can. So please do comment throughout. It'd be absolutely fantastic to see. I can see Dore's just posted the link finally. So pop yourself on there. You'll go backstage, and it's just a case of me clicking you in. Before we do get started, of course, all the usual stuff. Please give this episode a thumbs up. Make sure I don't get made redundant after the first week. I don't want to get sacked in the morning like Ten Hag or someone like that. So give it a thumbs up. Please get behind DoreOnTour, but get behind what I'm doing as well. I'd love to get your support and make this quite a successful part of what we do, what he does, part of the show. And like I say, if it does go well, we'll do it on a regular basis throughout the season. If you'd like to support the channel a little bit further than that, of course, there's the super chats. All donations are welcome. I don't see any of it. Dore keeps it all to himself, but he has got a channel to run. Whilst it's free to do, there's lots of things where people ask for an enhanced experience, and it doesn't come cheap as well. So if you can really get behind him, get behind me, that'd be absolutely amazing. Likes, of course, subscribe to the channel. He's got up to 8.4, 8,500 is his next target. That's absolutely amazing, isn't it? We want to get him up to 10k by the end of the season. That'll be incredible. And I think with the way things are going, the success of all the episodes recently, the number of views, he's definitely heading that way. And if I can help him, that'd be absolutely fantastic. So, like I say, get behind it in whatever way you can. Do it, that link. Come on. I just dig that comment out, actually, from Dore. There it is. Hit that link. Come sit backstage. Ask me a question. Talk about Saturday's game. And talk about who else you want, what's going to make us a true Premiership outfit. There's lots to sort of get through tonight. Start off with some of the comments. Like I said, I will try and get through as many as I can. Mark says, good evening, you lovely lot. Evening, Mark. Great to have you on. Lee says, hello, everyone. Eve's in, as she normally is. Hi, Eve. She says, hello, Des. Hope you're okay. I'm really good. Really looking forward to doing this on a regular basis. So if anybody wants to come on, please do it, that link. Jake says, I'm a Newcastle fan. Yous were amazing fans on Saturday. Well, yeah, thanks for that. And one thing I'll say on the back of that, Newcastle was actually brilliant host. There's always a bit of banter at a football match. There's always banter between clubs like ours and Newcastle's about who's the bigger club, what you won, Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. So there's lots of banter flying about. But one thing I did notice, I stayed in Newcastle on Friday night. The fans was absolutely amazing, and everybody wanted to come up and talk to us. That was brilliant. I love that. So it's all part of football, isn't it? Getting to know people and understanding it from the other side, and of course sharing opinion like we tried to do on DoreOnTour. Kev says evening, you Reds. Evening, Kev. Jay says, you did say it. Hey, everyone, you Reds. Hi, Jay. Jeff. Hello, Dore. Hello from New York. Well, not quite Dore. A little bit better looking. But that's the bonus you get these days on a Monday night. Probably kill me for that. Lee says, sure, it'd be great. Just a few guys sort of introducing themselves. That link again. Forest and Des are my fellow lovely chickies. Everybody's still feeling it, like they're in a good mood, aren't they? The True Red buzzing for the weekend, first home game against West Ham. There's already a bit of talk about transfer numbers, which seem to have gone astronomical, a little bit crazy. John Smith says, hello, Des, old school supporter. You're looking good in your new top. Oh, thank you. It's amazing, isn't it? It's really, really enjoy it. Keith says, evening, Des. Lots more comments. I'm going to get through as many as I can throughout. There's already people popping in, which is fantastic. That's brilliant to see. So Jamie says, nice top row, looks far better on someone than in pics. It actually does, doesn't it? It actually looks pretty decent. Really pleased with it, apart from the fact, don't tell anyone, but I think everybody probably knows I've had to take it back once already. So there you go. But we won't be negative. This is all about sort of getting over that Newcastle result and looking forward to the first home game of the season. Chapo said, loving the top Des. Heard Bournemouth got Neto from Barca and Sinisi from Feyenoord. Yeah, lots of clubs doing business. You know, definitely want to talk about anything Forest are doing. Ricky said, yes, Des, look forward to the show every time. Dylan, good evening, Des. How are the negotiations gone today? I'm in a small group with Dylan and a couple of Doors friends, and they think I'm on the negotiation panel for Morgan Gibbs White. I put my case forward yesterday. If Mr. Marinakis wants some help, he knows where I am, so I don't think he needs it, though, to be honest. Despite MTG, team still chatting. Williams looking good. Other than the back pass for the first goal, Niakate looked good. Mighton did more than Johnson in the whole 5 minutes. Takes time. Again, lots of different opinions to sort of go out there, isn't there? What's that? Des, you need to take Dore to the tattoo shop so he can get his Forest tattoo. Well, it's interesting you say that, Keith, because I'm sure he was supposed to go to Newcastle as Robin Hood, but that never materialised, did it? And who was the FKW at Hull? Who kept to the word? You know, so I think we need to get on his case. Comment if you want to have a go at Dore. Get after him. You know, he'll be watching, he'll be looking in, but definitely get on his case. We need proven Premier League players, not foreign players that have never played before. We need experienced players. Dan says, evening. I'm just getting to the bottom of these. You know, there's so many. Kel says, evening, Des. Hope you're all good. Enjoyed the match. Dan said, let's sign all the players. Pete says, hi, Des and everyone. So without sort of just reading everybody's evenings, evening, everyone. Jolly, True Red, Gordon, Warren Who. You know, I could be here all night just reading those. But of course, the purpose is to get people in. Keep your comments coming in. I'll try and stay on top of those. And of course, give the episode a thumbs up. Subscribe to DoreOnTour. And of course, subscribe to Do Daily. You know, that's my channel. That's it's something completely different. I just try and help people feel a little bit more positive, a little bit good about what they're doing. It's not mental health. Don't be put off. Don't be scared. You know, I'm just going about my business, talking about the match, talking about all the exciting things I've got going and trying to find a way when I'm not feeling great to feel better. So get over to Do Daily. Dore really pushes it for me. And again, we're working together to try and get this done. Just one quick comment there. I Des, I'm getting a Forest tattoo done in September at Dore's local tattoo shop. Shall I drag him with me? Absolutely. But without going on too much, it's about the people coming in as well. I'm going to get the first guest in. Evening, Mark.
Hello, mate. You all right?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad, mate. Thank you.
It's great to have you on, finally.
I know, God. Keep putting it off. About time.
It's a great-looking shirt as well. With
not too bad, mate, is it?
It looks good on TV, doesn't it?
Well, I like it.
No, I can't wait till they wear it to an away game.
I'll probably get the third one as well, to be honest, seeing as they've all got the badge on.
Yeah, I'm a little bit indifferent on that one at the moment. I'm not quite sure, but yeah. There's a
I reckon
comment
it'll be
there.
all
Look, we're getting some nice comments coming. Mark and Des, the dream duo. We'll
Don't
take
know
that.
about that just yet.
Love the twinning shirts, Cal. Yeah. So what's on your mind about Forest, mate? What do you want to talk about? Is it the weekend?
To be honest, mate, I think I'm just looking at the like positions that we need and things like that. I think we really need a ball-winning midfielder. Just somebody, you know, like a big player, just somebody who can boss that midfield. I know O'Brien's a great player. I do enjoy watching O'Brien. I think he's brilliant. Colback is a ball winner, but I just think he's a bit out of his depth now. No disrespect to him, he's been brilliant for us. Do you know, especially last season, it was amazing.
Did you watch the game on Saturday, Mark?
I didn't go, or I didn't actually watch it. No, I've just seen highlights and things like that.
To be fair, I'd almost written Colback off, and I'm a big fan of Colback.
I've heard he played well. I've not, like I said, I've only seen highlights. So
for me, you look like the one who did get about. O'Brien looks good, but for me, Colback was the one who he had a point to prove as well up there, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, of course he does. Yeah.
But yeah, you think we need a little bit more midfield?
Just a ball winner, really. Just, you know, that's what I think. It's because, like, I mean, I only watched the highlights, like I say, and most of the highlights, all I could see were that Bruno Guimaraes just literally getting space to play balls through. And what I've seen from O'Brien and Colback was they're dropping off a bit too deep. Nobody was going out to him. You know what I mean? So I just think somebody needs to get stuck in on players like that. No, don't give them the space, otherwise we're just going to suffer.
Yeah, well, I felt a little bit with O'Brien. He really got himself into some good positions. He won the ball back. You know, he was busy. But he just got caught a little bit on the ball. And hopefully that's just adjusting to the pace of the game. You know, getting up to scratch. I don't want to be. I definitely don't want to be negative. I was a little bit more negative straight away, and then I kind of thought about it. I listened to what the other Newcastle fans had to say on TalkSport or whatever phone-in I was listening to, and they were all quite complimentary. So I thought probably been a little bit harsh on the guys there. And I think 2-0 at Newcastle. You know, there's going to be lots of games where we get done 2-0 without 2.
We've only lost 2 games at their ground since January. Is it something like that?
Yeah, they've actually had top 4 form since January.
That's what I mean. So it's not bad that 2-0 really.
And you mentioned the guys in midfield there, Bruno Guimaraes. You know, him and Joel Linton. You know, there was animals almost compared to what we've got.
Pure class.
So where do you think we go from here then? Sort of West Ham in the week, transfers possibly. What's next for Forest in your eyes?
I mean, I don't know if any more transfers are going to come in this week. I mean, from what I've been reading, this Morgan Gibbs White one, it's ridiculous. I mean, what was it? 25 million and 17 million in add-ons. I mean, what's the add-ons? 5 million if we win the league. You know, I just don't get it. If you want him, just stuff it. Go all out, get him. Stuff the add-ons. Just do it.
Well, I kind of caused a bit of a talking point last night when I was saying I definitely want him. I didn't want to commit to saying I'd pay 40 million. Whatever. But if the club wants him, you know, they've probably just got to go there and say, look, what are you going to accept? But it don't work like that, does it? That's football. These transfers go down to the end of the window sometimes. And remember the Peter Odin-Wingy one when he sat in his car outside QPR or somewhere like that? You know, and these things happen. I just think I still believe it might happen. You know, I don't know why. I've just got a deep down feeling that the Gibbs White one will happen. I think is important. I don't need to reiterate what I said last night, but it's getting a little bit frustrating looking in now, isn't it?
Yeah, cool. I mean, I'd love him to come. Don't get me wrong. I'd love him to join us. I think him, Lingard, and Johnson. I think they'd be a brilliant, you know, trio up top. But yeah, I mean, money-wise as well, I'm not bothered about the 40 million. If it was my money, I'd be bothered. But you know, it's not. So go for it. Why not? We're in the Premier League now. You're going to have to spend money like that to stay up or go even further. So go for it.
Well, absolutely, mate. And I think that's an interesting point. When Mr. Marinakis stood on the council house and said he was going to drag Forest up to the top of the league, we've got to write a new history. You know, these are the kind of statements that I'm sure he's on about because we're seeing already. You know, what I'm finding is you've got like Nakate and Cook Nicote cost 17 million or 30 million or whatever he cost, and Cook, who was already there. There's still too much of a choice between who's playing.
Yeah.
You know, the striker, Surridge and Tyrone Awoniyi, you know, it's still 50-50 who's playing.
That's it, yeah.
So they're obviously not buying massively above what we've got. And I just think some statements are going to probably be made. I think it was Dylan last night who said we could end up spending 200 million before the end of the winter. And you know what? I wouldn't put it past them. And if they do, you know, we put our money in. It is our money in some kind of perverse way, but we put our money in, we watch it, we do what we do. You know, I want to see the best players I can at the City ground, and I want to ensure that we're not in for a long, hard season.
No, I mean, if it costs 200 million, then go for it. As long as it keeps us up, that's the thing. It's, you know, you've got to do what you can. You've got to do everything you can, should I say. You know, we need to be in that league. We need to stay in it. You know, get Forest back where they belong, really. I know we're in the Premier League now, but let's, you know, progress eventually. But like I say, it's 23 years since we've been there, so it's going to take a lot of time for these players to gel and realise what this league's all about. You know, they got a bit of a wake-up call on Saturday, didn't they, really? So, obviously, a lot of foreign players coming in, don't really know the Premier League. Championship players going from Championship to the Premier League, so it's going to take time. But I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be fine.
So before we sign off, mate, the weekend, Sunday, are you looking forward to it?
I am, yeah. Yeah, I am looking forward to it. I'll have the missus here, but she can go in another room while I watch it. You know what I mean? Get gone.
Well, that's brilliant, isn't it? Really looking forward to the game now. So hopefully we can just sort of we'll come to grips with it a little bit. The big crowd at the City ground, the noise. Hopefully, it'll just.
That atmosphere should be amazing.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on, mate. I know you've been a little bit nervous about it, but there's no need. Look, it's easy.
Mate, seriously, I'm sweating buckets here.
I am as well. You know, I've done it lots of times, but it's never any different. So really appreciate you coming on, and it's great that somebody in a matching top came on first. Have a good week, mate, and
cheers, mate.
Enjoy the game on Sunday.
Nice one, dude. Take it easy.
Cheers, Mark. So that was Mark, first caller in on Dialing with Des for the new season. Comment here, look from Spesh. I turned on the iPad and it was all yellow. Nice one, chaps. Of course, it's important, isn't it? Raz says here, controversial maybe, home bargain players. Interesting way of looking at it. Gary from Mexico. Gary goes to all games, but he's going to miss a couple because he's booked a holiday. So probably didn't expect us to be in the Premier League. But have a great holiday, Gary. Enjoy it. Hopefully your signal stays strong throughout. Just reading through comments. Evening, Dore. It's not Dore. It's me. And then they realised. Evening, Kay. Forest and Mangala playing for the under-21s tonight. Good sign. Yeah, I noticed I live just by Notts County, and obviously I've made this commitment now. I noticed the game was on, and there was stuff going on over there. There's pictures on Twitter, so it'd be interesting to see who gets a run out in that sense. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more of Mangala as well. Gordon says Willock was brilliant. I mentioned last night how good I think he was. Been a little bit of a revolution for Newcastle as well, hasn't he, since he signed? Wasn't quite working. I think it was Arsenal. It is Arsenal, isn't it? So it wasn't quite working, but been really, really good. And again, just on that point, Willock was brilliant. For me, that's almost like the Morgan Gibbs-White player. You know, it's that player who's a little bit untried and untested at this level, but he's just absolutely gone on to smash it and do whatever he can. So Raz says, Alex Moreno not coming. We saw that he on his Twitter today. He committed himself to Betis. There's no problem in that, is there? There's no point getting upset. The guy wants to stick with his club. We all want that kind of loyalty in football, don't we? But we don't always get it. So I see no problem whatsoever. This is what we're here for. Morgan gives a high shot. Absolutely. You know, we'll talk him in. Morgan Gibbs White is nowhere near 40 million. We're having our pants pulled down for anything more than 25 mil. Again, but on that point, based on the on the add-ons, you know, what we'll say, if they do somehow spend 25 million with add-ons are going to get paid with success, aren't they? So again, it might be money sort of, whilst it is a lot of money, it might be money well spent in a way. Heard Forest side to hijack guy from Everton off to PSG, but going Toffees now. Off PSG, sorry, but going to the Toffees now. Not heard that one. 40 million for a player who was in and out the Wolves team plus 2 loan moves. No thanks. I can completely understand why people might be a little bit dubious. Dominic says Hudson-Odoi. That's another one that's kind of crept up, isn't it? Cooper seems a little bit disconnected for my liking. That's interesting, isn't it? Keep an eye on that. I'm not quite sure, but it'll be interesting to see how that goes. IT says, where is King Dore? He's having a well-earned rest. He's had a big weekend, like the rest of us, but he gets to put his feet up tonight and just watch. Anderson interview with TalkSport about hitting Manchester United's class. If you want to come on and talk about anything like that, you know, there's been lots of media recently as they around players. Of course, Jimmy Garner is another one linked, sat on the bench yesterday alongside Ronaldo. Didn't look too impressed with what was going on there. Perhaps as a Forest fan, we're just looking for any sign we can get to get him back because we know how good he's been. If you want Garner back, please get in touch. Just read a few more comments before we get the next one in. Dore says, well done, Mark. Dore is watching. Don't know who he is, but he's watching somewhere. Gary from Mexico, free Wi-Fi, mate. Be okay. Probably win whilst I'm away. Hope so. There's 2 you're missing, isn't it? I don't want to go 3 games unbeaten. Yeah, so we'll get the next guy in just before we get Max. Again, just a reminder, there's 171 people in watching. Please give this episode a like. It's just below. You know, subscribe to DoreOnTour, subscribe to my channel, Do Daily. That would be absolutely amazing. All we're looking to do on a Monday is invite people to come on, you know, interact, talk about Forest. That's what we all love doing, isn't it? You know, probably spend half my life talking about it, but the reality is, you know, it's what I love doing, and it's absolutely fantastic. One last comment, Rebel City Red. I, Mr. Dore Daily from sunny Bridgeford. I'm only on the other side of the river, so good evening, Rebel City. But I'm going to get Max in. Good evening, Max.
Hey, mate. Thank you for having me on my show.
That's brilliant. You know, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
What's your thoughts on Forest right now?
I'll be honest, mate. I was not sure, to be honest. I thought the Newcastle game, there was a lot of positives coming out of that. I thought there's definitely a lot to take away with it. O'Brien looked all right. I thought the defenders looked pretty decent. I thought Henderson was really, really good on the day. Obviously, the attack didn't quite click, but there's still 37 games left, and I think you just got to be optimistic as much as you can, aren't you?
Absolutely. I think the reality was we rode this wave of excitement and sort of defying the odds since Cooper come in, haven't we? And getting big results in big games, you know, the Fulham game, the playoff games, big away wins last season. At some point, you know, a reality check is probably needed, and Newcastle served that up cold, didn't they?
Yeah, man. I mean, Newcastle is such a good side, aren't they? Like you were talking earlier there about their midfield, like one of the best in the midfield, like one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, I'd say, with Bruno, Joelinton in there, Willock as well. Like it blows what we've got out of the water, and it makes me kind of jealous. They've just bossed us on the day, and I'm very jealous of what they got there at the moment.
So how do you see sort of Forest bouncing back from it? Do you think we've got a chance this weekend? Do you think we can settle in and take things forward?
Yeah, I think we've got a decent chance against West Ham, you know, because I wasn't that impressed with them against City. Obviously, it's against City, so you can't really tell, but I wasn't that impressed, and I do think that they're going to be there for the taking. And I think it's experience for the players. Like obviously, Lingard didn't play really much in pre-season because he came so late. A lot of the other boys obviously playing with the under-21s tonight, but didn't get the chance really to play too much in pre-season, or have only joined in pre-season. So they're only going to grow in experience, and I think West Ham's like a good test for us. You know, they'll be aiming for sort of mid-table. I think it's a good opportunity to get some more legs and get some more minutes in the legs.
Yeah, there's a comment here from Jordan. Looking forward to seeing how we fare against West Ham. Head is saying we'll struggle. Heart is saying we'll stay up and finish 15th. Are you still confident? Do you know, I think we've all been knocked off a perch a little bit, but are you still confident that we can do it?
I think we are, because I think if you look at the other teams in the league, like there's some not good, like Bournemouth, good result, fair enough. They got a good result against Villa, but I'm not hopeful for them. Fulham, much the same. I think we'll be all right. So I think we'll be all right today this season.
And do you see anybody else coming in?
You know what? I don't know how to feel about the Gibbs White thing, because part of me wants to say, like, oh, you know, he's a great signing. Obviously, Coop wants him, obviously, because he's worked with him in the past. And so it's like you just throw whatever money they want at him. But I'm also like, we are kind of putting all our eggs in that basket. And there's a lot of other options on the market, including players we're linked to who maybe would fit a little bit better or be like immediate starters. So I'm not sure. I think there'll be more comings in, but the Gibbs White one I think is going to go down to the wire.
There's a nice Ant showing you some love there. Hi, Mike. It's always
always good to see you.
So nice comment there coming in. A lot of comments since I mentioned it before you came on. A lot of comments about Jimmy Garner. Just read through a few before we discuss him. Garner is class. He's a class bench warmer. Needs regular games. Garner needs to come back to Nottingham. Another one here from Peter. Definitely love to get Garner back. Where do you stand on this one? One more, sorry. Special heartbeat.
I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? He needs to come home, doesn't he? I saw him on the United bench against Brighton. He looked miserable. And like, he's had minutes in pre-season, but he needs to come home, doesn't he? You know, he knows the city, he knows the team, he knows Cooper. Like, it's even if it's on a loan, it adds more bulk in our midfield. It adds someone who knows the squad. I think if it's there, you got to take it, haven't you?
I think so. I just think the way he gets that ball around, you know, I touched on the fact of O'Brien earlier, you know, not moving it around. I just felt the players lacked a little bit of confidence. You know, I'm not criticising. It's all relative to the first performance of the season. But we definitely know Garner, that's his strength, isn't it? He's moving the ball on, moving it quickly, you know, finding those killer passes. And what we struggled is to sort of break through them, move that ball into those attacking players or attacking areas quick enough.
Yeah, and the big part is obviously the kind of team we are like trying to hit teams on the counter-attack, and having someone like you say who can get the ball out into the midfield and then to the final third quickly is really important. So I think it makes sense him coming back as well. I think he fits the system maybe better than some of the other targets that we've had linked to in recent weeks.
Well, one final sort of comment before you go. You mentioned bringing Garner back. I think this is an interesting one, isn't it? It'd be foolish not to bring Davis back. We missed him Saturday. Again, a player we all fell in love with as a lone player. Do you think that would be a good move?
Yeah, I think especially against a team like Newcastle who are going to try and suffocate it, and your best chances are hitting them on the break, and you need someone who can hold the play up. Like, I love Surridge, don't get me wrong, and I'm sure Awoniyi is going to be great as well, but that maybe doesn't play into their strengths. They maybe want to be going sort of long distance into the channels, whereas Keenan, you know, he's going to take it into feet. No one's going to out-strength him, and he's got the skill to get out into the channels. So, yeah, I think, again, it's like the Garner one. If he's there and if it's for a good fee or a good loan deal, it makes sense to bring him back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a massive fan of the two of them playing together, Garner and Davis. I think they work really well off each other. Garner tends to play better when Davis is holding the ball up and he can run in beyond him. You know, I think I'm still confident we could get those two as well. So it's looking interesting. But thanks for coming in, Max. Great to meet you. You know, great to say hello. Thanks for supporting the channel. Really, really
Cheers,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Cheers. That was Max, second caller tonight. Again, just to remind you, hit that like button. 178 people in watching. That's absolutely fantastic for the first one of these. You know, we're looking to add that structure to a Monday night. Anybody's invited in. Just hit that link that Dore posted at the top of the chat. It'd be brilliant to hear from people. Lots of sort of random comments coming in, which is brilliant. It gives me something to sort of digress with. There was one here I was interested in reading. Well, Gary says he's still confident we'll finish 13th. Anybody want to sort of drop the predictions in that sense? Gordon, interestingly, said tough look to weak link. That's interesting, isn't it? Again, just sort of summing a player up. James says, evening, Des, hope you're well. I'd jump on, but I'm absolutely knackered. No worries, James. See you next time. Of course, just keep watching, hit that like button, and of course, keep subscribing and doing what you do to support these channels. Wolverine says, hi, guys. Hi, Wolverine. Great to see another YouTuber. Here's one. Last 3 or 4 signings need to be Prem proven and ideally with pace like Dennis, Niles from Arsenal, 40 million for Morgan Gibbs-White is just pure robbery. Interesting there. I see the point in the first part of that comment. Of course, I'm a massive Morgan Gibbs-White fan, but I see the point. It would be great to get some real Premiership experience in. I see Dennis is playing again tonight. If anyone's seen that goal from the first half, wow, that was incredible. I think the guy scored from his own half, didn't he? So that's interesting. Anybody want to update me on the score? Please let me know. I might have backed Watford tonight, but there you go. Here's a comment from Geordie 2 for life. Newcastle fans tuning in. Lads, you definitely need 3 in midfield against West Ham. I think we're definitely going to, aren't we? But interestingly, they've got Antonio, we know a lot about, Jarrod Bowen, and what a player Declan Rice is. Declan Rice seems to do the job of 3 midfielders. So not looking forward to that one in the same way we came up against Ramirez. We've got another absolute beast in midfield to face on Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. One or two more comments before we get the next caller in. Andrew said, let's be positive. We're the best fans in England, so win or lose, let's embrace and support. No negativity like Blackpool a few years ago. We will survive. No, absolutely. I was saying that. I spoke on Twitter, on my own social media about, obviously you see a lot of worry and stress. Saturday was just brilliant. It was just great to be part of the Premier League again. What was your experience of it? I was lucky enough to go to the game, meet all the guys, Dore and everybody who you see on here regularly. And it was just brilliant. Defeat hurts, that's why we all follow our team. We all get a little bit upset and a little bit fed up when it doesn't quite work out. But it was a brilliant day. It just felt brilliant being back amongst something that absolutely huge. I don't think we realised how huge it was going to be. And seeing all the sort of comments on TV, I've seen twice Gary Neville say we're going to get relegated. Nobody's popped in with that yet. So if you've got anything to say on the back of that. Andrew says here, slow start, 15th in the end. And Desi says, maybe we miss Yates more than we realised. Again, another interesting point there. And perhaps going up against the likes of Declan Rice in midfield, it's definitely going to be someone we need just to sort of ruffle a few feathers in there, isn't it? And just one more comment before we get Simon in. Can see Nakate playing left back or even Colback filling in there. Hope you're okay, Des. Was in the row in front of you on Saturday. Well, I didn't know that. Well, I might have said hello. If you see me again, make sure you say hello. Like Dore always says, do come up to us and have a chat. It's brilliant when people do that at the game who've been on DoreOnTour. So, without any further ado, Simon, good evening.
Hi, mate. Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me okay?
I can, yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah, all good. I mean, what a wake-up call Saturday was. Because I don't know about you, but I was one of those fans that are a bit sort of too optimistic, I think, at the start of the season, thinking, we can get top half finished. But yeah, I know people normally say, obviously, the Premier League is a big step up from the Championship, but I didn't quite realise how much of a step up that was. If you see it, because we normally watch Premier League on TV, but that's Premier League players playing against Premier League players. You don't sort of, if you put some of our players in there, you suddenly see sort of, how much more strength and pace, and general skill there is in the Premier League. So, yeah, that was a bit of a shock, but I think hoping the players obviously gel together, and then obviously big test on Sunday, massive test on Sunday. I know it's only about sort of our second game of the season, but we've got to start well at the City Ground, I think, because promoted teams, we're not expected to get points away from home. And anything away from home is a bonus, but at home, that's where we've got to pick up those points. And yeah, hopefully we'll make it a really intimidating atmosphere for West Ham fans. I was speaking to a West Ham fan earlier. He was saying you know, they're going to come over and just give Jesse Lingard, you know, just give him loads of abuse and everything. And I was saying to him, like, City ground is very intimidating. Like, we're going to make it as hard as possible. You're not just going to come over and just sort of bully us at our own ground. Like, you know, because obviously they probably don't know what City ground's like. We've been away for so long. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, it is interesting. Just going back to your initial points about sort of the toughness of it, Geordie, tuned for life again. You'll stay up. Bournemouth, Southampton, Everton, Fulham have more to worry about than Forest. That's quite pleasing to hear, because I noticed next week Newcastle have got Manchester City, so I'm already, or in the next couple of weeks, it might be the week after, and I'm interested to see how Newcastle fare against City, because I think if they got done 4-0 at home, it would be a little bit like...
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
And just sort of going back to the game on Sunday, hope Antonio doesn't score against us on Sunday, like ex-players tend to when returning. How do you see the game sort of panning out?
Well, I hope we're a bit more attacking than we were on Saturday. That went great, was it? I don't think you can start with Colback and O'Brien in the midfield. Two holding midfielders, defensive midfielders. We've got to start Mangala, in my opinion. He looked pretty confident on the ball. Obviously, on Saturday, there was so much disconnect, obviously, between the defence and the attack. So we've got to change that. I just think we've got to treat it like a cup tie. You know, we've got to make it like how we were last year against Arsenal, how we were against Leicester. Really just make it, you know, big atmosphere, and get the players going. Just hit them early on. Don't sit back, really, because we can't just do what we did on Saturday, sitting back, defending for 90 minutes. That's not going to work. I mean, how do you see it going? Do you think we've got the firepower to break through? Because we didn't look like we were going to score the whole game on Saturday, did we?
I think the start is going to be really, really interesting. I think the first 10, 15 minutes, if we can get a bit of a foothold in the game, if we can take the game to them, create one or two decent chances, you know, sort of getting some good shots, not tame efforts, some real good efforts, I think the crowd will be right behind them. It'll really get things going. Of course, we know Premiership quality. Sometimes when you lose the ball, anything can happen. Even in the game against Newcastle, I mentioned back to it last night, the effort, what we had on the stroke of half time, where Lingard was slipped in, I think, by Nico Williams.
It's O'Brien, I think.
It was O'Brien. It was Lewis O'Brien. But it could have been 1-0 up there. So the game had actually been sort of played off the park. We couldn't get out a 6-yard box, never mind a penalty box in the main. So I think it's important to start on the front foot, try and take the game to them. Of course, that comes with a risk, you know, of being hit on the break by someone like Antonio and Bowen, you know, and the players I've mentioned, the good players West Ham got. They're no mugs. They finished top third, didn't they, in the Premier League? 7th, 8th, maybe. Can't remember exactly which position they finished in, but there was almost top third. I think it's interesting that we've got them at home, and obviously the Lingard thing adds a different dynamic. That's going to whip up the crowd from both points of view. So I'm sure when he touches the ball, he's going to get booed, but that's going to be retaliated with Forest fans.
I'm hoping we drown them out, to be honest, on Saturday. I'm pretty sure we will be able to. They're going to take every opportunity to give Lingard as much stick as possible, but I'm hoping we get right behind Lingard and give him all the support he needs, really.
So what's your stance on, I'm just going to read a comment or two, but what's your stance on signings? Morgan Gibbs-White, very good player, but we cannot be able to advance him. Even Dick Turpin had the decency to wear a mask. Gordon says, need a 20-goal striker, no-brainer. I totally agree with that. Which one, Gordon? Which one? Comment if you know of any of those 20-goal a season strikers. And a comment here. John says, Des, I did go through all the fixtures of the year, and first match was a lose. I feel 4 points from the first 5 games will put us on course, and September is a big month with Bournemouth, Leeds and Fulham. Absolutely. Nobody's kind of writing the season off at the moment. I think there's a long, long way to go, isn't there? And I also mentioned last night, Simon, that Newcastle was, on the face of it, it was a great fixture for us fans, to go and enjoy the big city, the big stadium, the banter. But the reality was it was a really, really tough start. It could have been Newcastle at home. It could have been Everton away. There'd have been much more sort of comfortable fixtures to try and adapt to. But regardless, what's your thoughts on signings and perhaps one or two coming in?
I mean, just quickly going back to what you were talking about just now about Newcastle, I think we were really unlucky. We were really unlucky not to get a home fixture for our first game. I think that would have made a big difference. You saw Bournemouth, Fulham both got points, didn't they, against good teams? So yeah, a bit disappointed about that. We didn't get the luck of a draw from that, but yeah, we move on. In terms of signings, I think well, as you said, I was watching the Watford game just now. I saw Sarr scoring from his own half. I think the commentator mentioned, one of the front three from Watford will be gone. So I'm hoping we can, put a bid in for Dennis. He's, proven goal scorer in the Premier League. Won't cost you loads of money. Probably, 20 million, something like that. Probably to me, it's a no-brainer. I don't know why the club's not really shown, that much interest in it so far. Maybe they're negotiating behind the scenes. I don't know, but yeah, obviously Morgan Gibbs-White's the hot topic at the moment, isn't he? 40 million does seem outrageous, doesn't it? But I mean, but it's Cooper's number one target, and I've heard some people putting, if Cooper doesn't get Morgan Gibbs-White, he's not signing the contract. So he obviously rates him like very highly, doesn't he? I think, but and the club should show him that sort of ambition and show him that sort of backing. If Cooper really wants him, then we've got to pay the money, don't we? 40 million. Just to back Cooper, really. We don't want a manager getting annoyed that he's not getting his signings. So on this occasion, I would say probably back Cooper. But for me, 40 million is a lot of money. I was speaking to one of my mates, a Leeds fan. He was saying, he watched him play last week. He didn't have good words to say about him. So yeah. Well, most of my mates are laughing that we're about to pay sort of 40, 50, potentially 50 million for Morgan Gibbs-White. But yeah. If it happens, it happens. It's not our money, is it? At the end of the day,
absolutely. We'll just sit and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can get a little bit carried away with the ins and outs of football transfers. But no, really appreciate you coming on. Just before you go, mate, where are you calling from? Where do you watch?
I live in Bristol now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you from Nottingham?
Originally Nottingham born, but I've sort of lived everywhere. I'll be there on Sunday. I try and get to most of the games. So
well, that's great. Hopefully, if you're back, we get a chance to say hello. But I appreciate you.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, no problem at all.
If you get a chance to come on in the future, please do. I'd love to get you back in. Some good stuff there. Cheers, mate.
Thanks a lot, mate. Cheers.
Bye. So that was Simon. Really appreciate the call. With some good points made about the game last Saturday. Of course, we're talking about the game and how it went, or looking forward, or both. To next Sunday and talking about potential transfers. They seem to be the hot topics at the moment, don't they? And on a Monday night, what we're looking to do in the coming weeks is just talk about what's happening in and around Nottingham Forest, in and around the club, the thing we love the most. So if you can get behind a Monday night, please like the episode. Please subscribe to DoreOnTour and, of course, subscribe to Do Daily. My channel's got a mere 680 subscribers. I'm trying to get it up to 1,000 so I can do a few more things with it. Again, it's not directly football related. I just talk about my experiences in daily life to try and support people and help them. But if you can get behind the channel, and of course, if you want to donate to DoreOnTour so more stuff can happen here, that'd be absolutely fantastic as well with Super Chat. And you can subscribe. You can become a member of DoreOnTour. A few people, including myself, back before I came on, pay £2.99 a month. I just realised I get so much from it before I got involved the way I do. I watch it so often, so anybody can get involved in that way. But of course, it's free to watch, and we encourage people just to stay tuned. Stay on top of all the vlogs, all the preview shows, the new Monday night. If you want to share it on social media, especially this episode, #DialingWithDes. That'd be amazing. That'd show support for what I'm doing here. I'd really, really appreciate that. And of course, spread the word about what we're doing on a Monday night as well. There's 186 people in. There's people still queuing up. So we've got plenty of time, plenty of stuff to get through. Just read a few more comments before we get to Warren. James says, I believe we will be a lot better playing on our ground. Fans will be singing their hearts out, and maybe 20 minutes in, and we go 1-0 up. Well, that's the dream scenario, isn't it? I think that would really settle us down. This is an interesting comment. Wayne says, don't think Antonio will score. He won't have a Sambonga with him. That was a partnership at one point, wasn't it? That looked like it was going to fire to the Premier League, but it didn't. And this guy, we all know who he is. Super Kevin Campbell. Hi, Des. Hope you and Simon are well. Be very careful of this West Ham side, especially Bowen. I've already pointed him out, Kev. Him, Antonio, Rice. I'm a massive fan of Rice. I wasn't. I was a bit sort of sceptical of what he could do when he was playing for England, and I've seen him quite a lot in that sense. But I went to West Ham last year. I went to West Ham Leeds after the Forest Millwall game on the Saturday, and I actually seen Declan Rice up close, and he covers every blade of grass. If you were looking for a combative midfielder, of course, not in Forest price range, because everybody's upset with spending 40 million, so we wouldn't be spending 140. But if you're looking for a combative midfielder, Declan Rice is top quality. Thanks for the comment, Kev. Thanks for tuning in. I really, really appreciate the support as ever. Really does get behind me and Mr. Dore and all the things we do. So it's absolutely fantastic. A comment here as well. I'm surprised this one hasn't crept up in West Ham conversation. The two would have loved Cornet at Forest, but he's at West Ham and we need to look at other options. I was actually fortunate enough to speak to Ian Wone last week. Got a chance to ask him a few questions, and he said this guy's an absolute beast as well. He really wanted Forest to sign Max Cornet. He says he is unbelievable. So be interesting to see if he plays. I'm not sure the deal's finalised, but it'd be interesting to see how the deal. Kev says as well, looking for Forest to be better at the City ground. I think we all are, Kev. I think we're all sort of hoping that it clicks, and we'll be right on. You know, we'll be right on song. We'll all be buzzing. We'll all be looking forward to it. The guys I've had in so far, really sort of looking forward to the game. Gordon says Callum Wilson, Des, I wanted him before Grabs back in the day. Both were at Bournemouth. Great player, isn't he? When he gets the chances, when they get put on a plate, he can do the business, and he's shown that, didn't he? I don't think he's the best striker in the world. I don't think he's top level. But if you've got that midfield that Newcastle have got, and St. Maximan and the wide players setting him up in the way they do, Trippier is another one. If you've got them kind of players, you've got the service. So he'll stick I think he'll stick a lot away this season. I'm going for Newcastle to finish 8th. So I'm really sort of impressed by them as well. More on the Morgan Gibbs White. It's like a timeline, isn't it? It's like Twitter. Wolves turned down 42 million. I don't know who they think they are really, but there you go. Here we go again. Wolves are the worst to negotiate with, coming from Sean. Someone savoury comments there as well, but I'm not too concerned about that. Keep smiling. Mr. Daly, your channel is great and inspiring. Thank you. Really appreciate that, Andrew, especially after the last comment. I'm sure you can all see it, but that's fine. Right, we'll get the next guest in. Warren, good evening.
How you doing? You all right, Des?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Good, mate. Thanks very much for having me on.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's a learning curve for us all, this. So what's your thoughts on... Sorry, mate.
Can you hear me all right?
I can. I think there's just a slight delay.
Right.
So what's your thoughts on Forest?
Yeah, I mean, obviously disappointing Saturday. But I think in the wider scheme of things, it's the first game, isn't it? And they've had a brilliant record at home since Eddie Howe took over. So we go again, as Mr. Cooper always says. And I think, there's still a few more players to come in. And once they start gelling, it's a long season. I think it'll be all right.
Are you looking forward to the game on Saturday?
Yeah, Sunday. Definitely.
Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. It should be good. Yeah, hopefully there's going to be, with the fans behind them, get everyone behind them as we did last season. And we should see, a bit better performance. Obviously, they've had another week in training. Hopefully we'll see more of a coherent. I think the biggest problem, I think a lot of people have said it, is the transition at the moment from defence to forward. There's not a lot of transition there. The midfield needs to sort of really gel and improve. Obviously, there's not a new people coming in, isn't there? So we'll have to wait and see how that works out in the future.
And how do you see Forest sort of rectifying that problem? If you've watched DoreOnTour, you'd have heard me mention the likes of Sandberg, somebody like that.
And I've been making comments on Dore's thread and also on people like Media Man and other people who do streams, and saying, I think Sandberg would have been a good purchase. He's a big unit. He passes the ball around well. I actually think, there's a lot of rumours at the moment. I try not to get involved with all the rumours because everyone and the dog's been linked with Forest. But I think if Whaler is a definite, honest link, then that would be a great midfielder to bring in. And I think Mangala, once he picks up the speed, there were some good comments I saw today that I can't think of his name, Fletcher, I think his first name, was sharing some text he had with the Belgian manager and saying he thought he was the best player at their last under-21 tournament. So I think he's a real prospect, Mangala.
Oh, that's interesting then, isn't it? And I think Mangala's one we're all really, really looking forward to, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I counted up after did the squad numbers on Friday, and we've only actually got 19 players who are over 21 by age that we have to register for the 25-man squad. So there's still space there to bring in another 5 or 6 players if that's what Cooper and the acquisitions team want to do. There's space there for at least 5 more, maybe 6 more players. So I think we do need. Everyone's sort of saying we need Premier League quality players, but I think any quality player from any league coming in and doing a job. Look at Bruno at the weekend; he was amazing, and he didn't have any Premier League experience where he came in. So sometimes it's just picking the right player, in terms of talent and skill, but also someone who's going to fit in with what we've got already.
I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because Cooper, what you just said there about spaces in the squad, Steve Cooper said that there's more to come. There has to be. There has to be.
Yeah. I think the most telling thing was his not scouting interview. And a lot of people said he was a bit brutal. I don't think he was brutal. I think he was just honest. He was down the line, as Cooper always is. And he very quickly said, yes, there will be more people coming in. But he used one word that really stuck in my mind, and he said the word naive. And he wasn't just talking about the players, he was talking about the fan base and everybody. I think a lot of us had a bit of a wake-up call the weekend. We've all been on a high since, the playoff final. And this was a good reality check to bring us back down a little bit. I think, let's concentrate on getting the 38 points, and then we build from there. Let's get that first. Let's get safe, and then we move on. A lot of people say we're going to finish top 4 and top 7 and all these sort of things. I'm not saying we won't, but it's a long way from where we are at the moment. Let's build up to it. Let's hope for that. Well, let's get the base in there first.
And are you still confident that we can take this forward? The journey, the Steve Cooper journey. The bandwagon's not finished yet.
Yeah, I am confident because I think as people were saying in the streams over the weekend after the result, every time we lost last season, we came back and we looked better. We learnt from it. I think, and obviously you saw at the summer at the training camp, they're doing the video of the, I don't know what they're called, but the team, data analysis team, and they do all the video and show, and I think they use that really well. And that's all part of Cooper's sort of management style. And he'll show the guys where they're going wrong, and show how they can improve. And I think, like a lot of people said, the pace of the weekend surprised a lot of our guys. Newcastle played at a frightening pace compared to us. But that will come, they'll realise that and they'll step up the game. I'm still confident. I think we can finish 12th to 14th if we get a couple more decent players in and start playing with confidence. That was last year.
So I'm gonna ask you something along the line of transfers. 3 players. You've got 3 players. You're Steve Cooper with an unlimited budget.
With an unlimited budget?
Yeah. Unlimited.
Serious.
Yeah, realistic.
realistically, I'm still unsure about MGW. I'll admit I was one of the first people to say 20 million was too much. I know I heard what you said last night. I didn't know you're a big fan. If it's who Cooper wants, though, and if it's who Cooper thinks he needs to complete, that hole, that jigsaw piece, I think we really desperately need a left-sided attacking midfielder / striker, someone with pace. And this might seem a bit off field, but Ryan Kent at Rangers, because Rangers had a great season last year and reached the Europa League final. And I think he could do a job for us on the left-hand side of the midfield. He's got a lot of pace and he scores goals. MGW possibly, Sanderberg possibly. There's a few players I think would improve us, but that's the thing. It's finding someone who's going to improve us. But like Steve Cooper always says, mixes in with who we've got already, isn't it? So they don't disrupt that sort of brotherhood they've got there. And I think maybe, I'm not sure, do we need another left back? Because I saw someone made a comment earlier. Toffolo for me was probably the weakest. I'm not saying a terrible game, but he was probably the weakest player on Saturday. We don't know how long Richard's left back. Sorry?
It'll be interesting to see how he develops going forward.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a journey. And like you were saying throughout the summer, Des, on a lot of these things, we've just got to enjoy this journey. I mean, it's been 23 years. I mean, I used to, I'm obviously a bit older than a lot of the guys that come on, and, I've sort of followed Forest, since the late 70s. So, I've seen all the ups and I've seen all the downs, and I've sort of season ticket holder back in the day when we were in League One and going to away games in League One, and it wasn't fun at times, but, you support your team for a thick and thin, don't you? So it will be a good journey. I think everyone's going to enjoy it.
It's been great to have you on, mate. And I appreciate the difference of opinion. If you're not a Morecambe Black fan, that's absolutely fine. You threw a new name into the hat as well. So that's brilliant.
I think that's what's great about these things, though, Des, is people can come on and honestly have a conversation and compare opinions. And it's not, an argument or anything stupid like that. It's, intelligent conversation about football from Forest fans or, whichever club it is. And, I love watching these streams. I'm really glad you had me on tonight. So thank you very much.
I really appreciate the call, mate. Despite the gremlins, great call. Thank you.
All right. Cheers, Dad. Take care.
Yeah, I thought that was great there. A difference of opinion. Not everybody has to agree with what I say, what Mr. Dore says, what the usual panelists say. It's just a case of sharing the thoughts on what we enjoy. We all love football. We all love talking about it. We all get into debates about it. I'm sure when we're younger, we fall out about it. But, as we get older and look at it and see the team progress, it's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Just a couple of comments. My biggest fan there says, great to see loads of new faces on tonight. And Forest Dance says, Kevin Campbell, love you, man. Why not make us all happy by making an appearance on the stream? That would definitely make me happy. So good call, Ant. Hopefully Kev's still watching and he's got the chance to sign in. But we've got a few people sort of lined up. Just get through a few more of these comments before we get on to the last couple of calls for this evening. I think Morgan gives White and Brennan in the same team, creates goals and scores us to keep us up. My point exactly. Andrews. Sorry, Mr. Daly, if my comment was bad. What I'm saying is I'm sure MGW will end up Forest. He wants it. Cooper wants it. It turns out to be maybe millions and millions worth. I'm not quite sure what that meant, but I must have missed something. Or hello, Mr. Daly, up the Reds. Still lots of comments coming in. Lots of people still watching. Again, I'll just keep reiterating it. Make sure you like the episode. Subscribe to Dore's channel. Subscribe to my channel. It'd be absolutely amazing. Seen 1 or 2 notifications pop up. So thank you to the guys that have. I really do appreciate it. More names being thrown in. Cole Palmer, Omar Mamouche. More comments about Antonio back at Forest. I've seen 1 or 2 people say that. Again, I'm not quite sure. He is what he was. I'm a massive fan of Michael Antonio, especially when he played for Forest. And at times for West Ham, he's looked unplayable, hasn't he? But he's been a little bit inconsistent in the last year or 2. So I'm not quite sure that's the way I go. But I do really, really like him. Spesh says, we are one game in and don't have a full squad yet. Just be patient and it will happen. I think we're all on the same page of that. Score prediction starting to come in. Charlie Ollie says 3-0. Surridge hat-trick. We'd all take that, wouldn't we? That would be absolutely fantastic. Derek says, I thought O'Brien looked really lightweight. He was bullied off the ball way too easily. Again, I've made a few comments on him. Somebody's Forest fan, give Toffolo time to adjust. It's unfair to judge him on one game. Again, it's all about personal opinion, isn't it? It's just what it is. Just one or two more comments before we get on. Here's one. This would make for an interesting yellow ticker on Sky Sports News, wouldn't it? 6 new players on deadline day. That would be exciting to say the least. Sam says, I've seen Forest are interested in Cody Gakpo from PSV. However, I think it's unlikely because he wants Champions League football, quite possibly. And then there's a question from Ricky. Do you think we should go for Che Adams? To be honest, it's a player I've always liked. A player, if the question's being aimed at me directly, not quite sure he'd be top of my list. His goal return in the Premier League has not been fantastic, but he does come up with big goals, big important goals, and he is a tidy footballer. So I wouldn't be devastated if we signed him. Like I say, he wouldn't be top of my list. Somebody I would have liked a few years ago when he was a bit more of a prospect. And then there's a comment here, just think what effect Cooper would have on Morgan Gibbs-White. And again, that's just sort of reiterating some of the points I've made. So the guys have been waiting patiently. We'll get the next one in. Wolverine, good evening.
What's up, Des? How you doing, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. Little shocked at some comments this week from some of the fans. I've had in my streams a couple of people saying Cooper out. Can you? I nearly fell out of my chair, mate. It's one game. It's one game.
That's what it creates sometimes, isn't it? It creates a bit of people. I've got like WhatsApp groups and things where people are like really losing their crap over it. Do you know what I mean?
We're too reactive, aren't we? We'll go and beat West Ham this weekend, and it'll be, Cooper's the greatest again and everything. It's like we're just so reactive. It just depends on the result, especially just after the game. Emotions are high and what have you. But we just need to calm down a bit. There's been a lot of changes to the team. There's still going to be a few more. We just got to take a deep breath. Yeah. Remember, this is new, not just to the team, but to Cooper as well. So he's going to adjust. I felt he did make a few mistakes in the team selection on Saturday, but doesn't change my opinion on him. I think he's going to get it right, and he'll correct it probably by the time we get into West Ham. There's got to be a couple of new additions into the midfield. We were completely overrun in that midfield. Bruno was just... what a class player he was. I bet he looked good live from where you were sitting in the stand.
Oh, absolutely. We could see everything, and I didn't know whether it looked like they got more space because of how high up we were. It was like we was in a hot...
It wasn't, mate.
Well, he dominated the game. For me, him, Joe Linton, Willock, little triangles, just closing down, pressing the fullback, the wing backs, pressing the centre backs. We just couldn't get it going. And Forest coped really well under pressure last year, didn't they? It's a different level. It's a different pace.
Yeah, you see, the other thing I felt the 3 at the back did all right. There was a few mistakes, but the main thing is you can't sustain that much level of pressure for 90 minutes without it eventually cracking. It's inevitable. West Ham tried to do the same thing against Man City last night. And eventually, the quality broke through. So I want to see us taking more of that Fulham approach. I watched the Fulham game against Liverpool. And they went out and said to Liverpool, we know who you are. We ain't scared of you. You've come to our backyard. We're going to come out, close you down, play, really push high up the pitch. And it just didn't, it didn't happen. I think there was a bit of rabbit in the headlights in the first 15 minutes or so. And I was just saying to the guys in the chat, I was like, just let's get to halftime. Let's get to halftime, tick that box, move on, get to the 60th minute. But it took a worldie to break us down. How many times you see a goddamn centre-back crack one in from that far out? Right, he would have hit the postage stamp in the top corner, mate. It was ridiculous. But that's the Premier League for you. Even the centre-backs can score from outside the box. We just got to make our peace with it. But we got to talk Morgan Gibbs-White, mate.
Is that what you're here for? Just
That's
before
what
we do that, the first super chat on Dialing with Des.
Hey, Andrew.
Mr. Dore, what a team. Absolutely. And of course, Wolverine's got his channel. Thanks for the super chat, £2. Really, really appreciate that. Perhaps some of it might make its way through Dore's tight pockets.
Bit of commission for you on the side, Des, right?
I'm joking. No, but yeah, you're here to talk about Morgan Gibbs-White. You want to?
I am, mate. I am. I got a few points on him, and I know I've bleated on about him for the last 2 weeks, and he is that missing piece. He is that game changer. It's a bit like when Bruno came into Newcastle, how he changed them in January. From, you know, the Newcastle fans are fickle. They forget where they were sitting the first 2 or 3 months of last season. Yeah. Bruno comes in, takes control of that midfield. One player can sometimes be enough to be that catalyst that changes everything. And I've seen a lot of Morgan Gibbs-White, and he is that player, especially if Cooper wants him. 20 mil, 30 mil, 40 mil, 100 mil. It doesn't matter. If we as Forest fans are going to turn around and say, in Cooper we trust, it can't just be lip service. If Cooper is saying Morgan Gibbs-White is the boy he wants, then what is it to us? You were saying it the other day. It's not my money going into Wolves' back pocket. I don't care. I'm there to support the team. And if Cooper thinks that Gibbs-White is that missing piece, we got to get into our heads that this isn't the Championship anymore, where 500k was a lot. We went over $1 million. It was crazy money. Yeah, 40 million buys you a certain level of player, you know, in the Premier League. And look, Newcastle paid 35 mil for Bruno. No one had heard of him a couple of years back. Yeah, everyone knows him now. How much is he worth now on the market? He's probably close to, you know, 50% onto his price on top of that. Cooper, and the other thing people are missing with this so-called 40 million, it's going to be made up in add-ons. And part of those add-ons will be survival, goal bonuses, assists, win bonuses, and things like that. All these things would drive us better up the league. And all these things would help to the objective. And staying in the Premier League is worth £180 million a year. Yeah. So 40 million is a drop in the ocean compared to what he brings. But the main point is, if Cooper wants him, and if the fans are going to say, in Cooper we trust, don't stand there and suddenly become accountants and say to everyone that, you know, well, I've figured out because I'm a football analyst and I've figured out that based on this market, you know, with this inflation and everything, this is his worth. Because the fans that were saying I wouldn't pay 20 million for him a couple of weeks ago are now saying I probably would have paid 20 million instead of the 40 million. You know, we're very fickle, and I've done it. You know, I thought 30 million was too much for him, but my stance is he is that missing piece. But my thought on it as well, mate, is a lot of people are asking me, where does he fit in the team? Does he replace Lingard? Do we just put him in as a CM? And I think for me, Cooper's looking to design the team around him. I almost feel like we may see a change into a 4-3-3 if he were to come in. Lingard would go out on the left. He's played a lot there for United. Maybe Brennan Johnson pulls out on the right wing, Owoni up top, and then you put Gibbs-White in the hole, maybe Mangala and O'Brien in behind, and maybe try it 4 at the back. Because the biggest thing I felt in the Newcastle match was we were flooded out of that midfield, and we needed an extra body in there to help us push it up. Now, I'm not saying change the formation and, you know, hit the nuclear button now, but it's something we need. We need a plan B and a plan C within a game that maybe the formation changes, which he did at the end of the game, but it was, you know, a bit too little too late when he brought Mighton on and we switched into a 4-3-3. We're already 2-0 down.
Well, it was short of options, wasn't he? That it was striking. He said he needs more players.
Yeah.
I think that I can't remember the chap's Warren. Warren said we've got 19 players who are technically first team players. You know, there's lots to still be done. But on your points about Morgan Gibbs-White and you know, you're preaching to the converted.
I know, mate. I know.
You know, I was making the same points last night. I just think it'd be such a fantastic addition. And what I can't wait for, you know, you see things on social media and comments. I can't wait for everybody saying he's worth every penny.
Exactly.
You know, as soon as we sign him, which I believe we will, he'll be worth every penny. And everybody said we should have done this. You know, and if he scores 12, 15 goals, he's going to be a hero and all these kind of things. So for me, it's a no-brainer. He fits in with everything that's good about Forest over the last 12 months. You know, Steve Cooper, He fits in with him. He fits in with the young players that are already there. You know, his style of football fits in with the formation. He's young. You know, he's hungry. He's got bags of potential. For me,
the price tag ain't always right, mate. Sorry to the price tag isn't always true. They were telling us Jesse Lingard was on 200k. He's on 80k. Yeah,
exactly.
Wolves are just buying.
When the football fans learn that not to believe everything you read, you know, exactly. I've said it already. There's stuff that comes in, you know, and it's just one of those, isn't it?
Right, and the other thing is because I feel there's dominoes that need to fall because Wolves are being under pressure by their fans to get players. They're getting Guedes in for about 27 mil. They're putting out what's his face, Connor Cody to Everton on loan with an option with a mandatory buy at the end of the year for 12 mil. Yeah. Now, oh my God, it's Kevin Campbell, my hero. I love you, Kev. Sorry. Now, the point is, they got no money coming in. They need to fork out 27. Wolves are cash struck anyway, yeah? For them to fund this Guedes, part of it is they're going to have to offload some players as well. Who's the one that anyone's interested in? Morgan Gibbs-White. The value at 27, Morgan Gibbs-White's fee being discussed, you know, as the payment up front at 25, 27. It makes sense to me. I'm still confident it's going to happen, and I don't think it will get anywhere near the 40 mil.
No, I'm with you on that. Just to sort of bring that, Bruno's Brazilian international who played at Lyon, stop this madness. Again, Kev doesn't quite agree with us on this one, but that's fine.
But I agree with him. I mean, I'm never going to argue with my freaking hero, mate. But Sam Aouara, what a player for 15 million euros. Get them both in is what I would say. You know, we can be, as fans, we want the world. So get them both in. Aouara is outstanding and he can do a hell of a role in there. And I am shocked no one's going to bring him in for 50. I'd bring Kevin Campbell back tomorrow, though, bro, up front. I wouldn't say no to him playing.
Are you there, mate?
I'm still there. Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. I thought you'd.
I'm still there, mate. I'm still there.
No, so of course you're on the same page as me with this whole
100
with this whole Morgan Gibbs-White thing. You know, we're just hoping the deal gets done. We're not too concerned about the numbers. I understand the numbers being involved is a lot of money. It's a frightening figure, but I'm not sure who else is out there. I asked the question earlier in the feed. I asked the question when somebody said we need a 20-goal a season striker, and no names were mentioned.
Exactly. You know, everyone's saying Dennis, aren't they? Dennis, but he didn't get 20 goals last season, and he was in the Prem.
He didn't get 20 goals in a struggling team. He looks a good player. You know, yeah. he looks like someone we could take a chance on. But again, there's not many names being thrown forward other than Gibbs-White, and that's why this one won't go away, isn't it?
If you've got the Inter Milan striker as well. I forgot his name. It's another long, unpronounceable name. Who is still linked with Forest. But again, you're looking at 17 to 20 mil on him as well. Mancini was bigging him up as the future of Italian football 2 years ago. He hasn't quite developed into it yet, but he's still one that's linked. Obviously, now Cornet's gone. Cornet would have been great for Forest because we've got this secret issue going on at left back that I can't get my head around with Omar Richards. How long's he out for? There's all these talks about Tuffalo not being... And there's a bit of animosity between them about the extra money he asked for because he knew he had them by the balls for the O'Brien deal. I don't know how true all of this is, but there's a lot of, you know, there's no smoke without fire, as they say. So Cornet would have been fantastic. But at the moment, for me, I say we need 3 more at least. I say someone like Dennis up front, Morgan Gibbs-White. I'd be happy with Garner or Frauler or however you say the chap's name from Atalanta. He's got pedigree. Yes, he's a bit older, but he's got Champions League experience. He's not scared of the big stage. He's played in there, and we need that. You could see that from Saturday. We need a bit of that experience where, you know, he'll be the kind of guy who will take the ball. He's not scared of the ball. He can distribute it well, get it into the likes of Lingard, link up that midfield to the defense and the attack. Mangala needs to play 100% this weekend. You know, I'm not going to give my opinions on Colback. I'm sure a lot of the guys already know it, but he's playing at his max level. but the Premier League is a level above that. So I want to see Mangala in for Colback against West Ham. But I'm looking forward to this West Ham game because the West Ham fans, the banter is crazy at the moment with the Lingard stuff, mate. So imagine 1-0 Lingard 89th minute. It'll be heaven. It'll be heaven.
Here's another comment from Kev, and this again is a slightly sort of different view on it. Get quality in, 40 million plus is excessive. Goals by committee will work best for Forest. Lingard 10, Johnson 10, T-Dog 10. Absolutely. If that's going to work, that would be absolutely amazing. Just on what we saw at the weekend, I'm not sure that it's going to sort of start well. You know, there's some work to do in those partnerships, isn't there? But look, Wolverine, I really, really appreciate the call. There's another couple of guys waiting in.
You get onto them, bro. You get onto them.
Get onto them. There's a couple of comments I want to read out as well. It all gets a little bit interesting when you do one of these, doesn't it?
I know, mate. Trying to read and trying to, talk and do the comments, you need 3 sets of eyes, mate. But you're doing a fantastic job, bro. It's always entertaining to see you on there. Keep it up. I know it's hard work. I'm there with you in spirit, mate.
Cheers, Wolverine.
All the best, bro. See you later.
Cheers, bye. That was Wolverine. Always great conversations. Got his own channel as well. Go and find him on YouTube and subscribe to his channel. I should have actually asked him to plug it, but go and find it. Support him. Like I say, Morgan Gibbs White fan, man after my own heart. So really appreciate his comments tonight and appreciate him coming on to support. Just read through some more of the comments before we quickly get on to the next guest. Jeff says, hey fellas, hello from Manhattan in New York. Of course, Dore's got a worldwide audience these days, and it's a great way of staying in touch with what's going on with Forest. So thank you for watching. Like Gary, it's probably sometime in the afternoon there, isn't it? So I think that's great that people can tune in. Geordie's back again. He's insisting on this 3 in midfield is a must against West Ham. Probably told us 3 times now. So I think it's something we need to stand up and take note of. Just reading through. Chapo says trying to put morale down on Forest, bad press on us and Jesse. I think Jesse's going to be all right. I really do. I think he's going to come good. He looked all right on Saturday in not the best performance. So I think we're all right there. I think, and like Kev says, I don't disagree with any of those comments. Whilst I'd love to see MGW, we've got some great players. We've got some really good players. I'd like to see Brennan sort of turn around and run at teams. Somebody asked me there. I was looking for the comment. Somebody asked me about what would I do on Saturday. Personally, Sunday, I keep saying Saturday, don't I? Sunday, I'd look to probably put Mangala in. I'd like to see him start the game. I'd actually like to see Annie One-Year play as well. I love Sam Surridge. I think he's brilliant, at chasing things down, working hard, works his socks off. He's quite quick as well, He's got some real good attributes. But I'd like to see Tyro play and see exactly what we've got for our money. And at home, perhaps a little bit more in the ascendancy might just work out for him. And of course, for strikers, goals are important, aren't they? Whoever's playing up there, we need to find that first goal, those first points, and really sort of take the game to them. Kev says, top man Wolverine. DoreOnTour says, stop the praise, Des. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but then again, I never really am. Moving on, we'll get Tim in. Hi,
hey
Tim, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, buddy. Yeah, thanks, Dore, and yourself, Mr. Do Daily, for all the content. It's created that kind of frenetic continuation from the end of the season that it's just there's so much going on with Forest at the moment. Like every day, there's twists and turns, and it's pretty difficult to even keep up half the time with what's going on. But I must admit, just one negative this is not against Forest, but I have officially, I think, become addicted to clicking on Twitter. Like it's now become a problem. So I'm going to have to go on a detox, go cold turkey for a few days because it's getting too much. But nevertheless, I wanted to come on anyway and just have a quick chat with you again. MGW is a subject that's been chatted about all evening. A couple of points, maybe they've been made already. I don't know. I've lost my head a bit over what's going on, but yeah. So Morgan Gibbs-White, if that's the guy that Cooper wants, which I think we can pretty much see, we don't know, but I think we can assume that is a player that he's kind of the piece of the jigsaw one. Now, we've been talking about what Cooper does, and we go back to last season, right near the beginning. Cooper pretty much has got a record of improving every player he works with. That seems to be his thing. Now, he inherited a squad that he didn't really have much input in when he started at Forest, and he turned a group of players that were seemingly failing or were failing into a team that very quickly progressed up the table and started to well perform above what anyone would have had expectations for. It's a bit of a rambling point, but my point is that when you're looking at ceilings of players and you're looking at, say, Gibbs-White, and you're looking at what he may be worth at some point in the future, and nobody knows. I think there is a price, and I know there's a lot of people here saying it's not our money, and we need to just, if that's the player, pay the money, and I'm all for that. I'm a big fan of Gibbs-White before anybody starts saying, we don't want him, but I do think that there's a cap on what we probably should be looking at paying for him, just on the basis of everything has its value. Everything is a commodity. And I even think Cooper would be admitting that. I honestly think, let's imagine that Gibbs-White has a ceiling of, let's say, £60 million in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, if things went well. I don't really you want to be doubling your money on these players, I would have thought. And I would say 30 was top end. It always was. And if you're moving into the realms of 40s and 45s, 50s, with the idiotic comments of the Wolves boss, ludicrous. I think we're starting to just worry about then just how that's going to work. But that was just the first thing. I was wondering what your thoughts on that was, Des.
No, I totally agree. And for as much as I've raved about this guy, and as much as I've really wanted us to sign him and still do, and I say sometimes the figure's irrelevant. It's not, is it? Because it is a business, but we don't know. We don't always know what the figures are, do we? I take your point. If we're looking to buy someone like that, potential resale value and what we could get back from it, I look at Raheem Sterling. He went to Man City for 50 million, and they've almost recouped all that money, as well as they had a great player for 5 years. And so if he was going to do something like that and win your trophies and score important goals, well, of course, Forest aren't going to be that Premier League team, are they? For not straight away, hopefully we can build season on season, 3-4 years, and sort of push ourselves on towards the top half in Europe. And it's going to take having sort of quality players in there to do that. Somebody who can match win, somebody who can make a difference. And they come at a premium. That's the problem, isn't it? They come at a real premium. Everybody was losing their heads over Jesse Lingard, the media, £200,000 a week, this, that, Forest are getting out of the depth, But the problem is it comes at a premium. We've almost signed Taiwo Awoniyi, who's not played in the Premier League, comes with a good reputation, but we don't know what we're going to get for 17 million quid. That's a good point. Yeah, that is a good point. And I think this is why you're getting why English players are priced so highly, because you kind of know what you're getting. You've seen them. You've seen the ability and what they can do in certain games and how they can adapt to certain situations. And I think that's why they get overinflated. It's not just a case of, let's slap 30 million on somebody who's never done anything, because there's people who know a lot about football, watching them, realising I'm led to believe, and I don't know the ins and outs of the deal because I don't get myself involved in it. That top line figure is 42 million as we speak today. Yeah, that's what's been revealed. It's absolutely bonkers. It's eye-watering. But the bottom line figure, which I believe they've not budged on from what I've read, is 25.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. It's 25 plus 17. They're talking about the latest rejected offer.
So 17, we don't know the terms of that 17. I'm not saying it does, because I know I'm going to get some feedback from this, but it could be if you finish in the Champions League spot, 5 million. It could be if he scores 25 goals this season, 5 million. We don't know what those add-ons tally up to. So again, that's why I can't get too worked up about numbers. You know,
No.
I'm not stupid. I don't want Forest to do a derby. I don't want us to spend money on players and end up with people that are worthless. But it's going to take taking a few risks. You know, taking chances. We know the owners are quite prepared to do that. We know they really want to drive us forward. There was a reason Marinakis got involved in this deal, you know, because it was taking too long, probably in his mind. There's a reason Mr. Marinakis wanted to get this deal over the line. And I think there's a bit more to the deal as well in terms of Steve Cooper and who he wants and contract and all sorts of things I don't know anything about, but as fans we can only speculate on. And
what do you think? Sorry to interrupt, Des. What do you think of the? Often is the case. I don't know what the rules are now in terms of play or the player power thing. Was all that came into force when agents came in a good few years ago now. Before it was kind of managers had a bit more say, I think. But what do you think of if there's a willingness from Morgan Gibbs-White to come to Forest, that he wants to play with Cooper and he wants to be part of the project, you know, which I think we have to assume is possibly true. What Wolves are going to be left with is, I mean, there's 2 points then. So can he put in a transfer request and just make it kind of, look, I'm not really going to be an asset to you, because it's, you know, we can all say that players that are unhappy will still play a role. But I think in life, you've probably all been at work and in different situations in jobs where when somebody's decided they don't want to be there, they're kind of not really worth much. They're ready to leave, right? And I just wonder whether this jockeying that's going on from Forest perspective, in the sense that they're pretty confident in this 25 million figure, which is the baseline figure, is the point being that they know that Morgan Gibbs-White just wants to come, and they're kind of like they're sort of fiddling around with these bonus numbers again, which you rightly said doesn't make much sense to the layman, because we don't know what that means. It could be any number of craziness there. It could just be to avoid relegation, in which case, you know, that's another thing. That will be a portion of it. But I wonder whether, as a couple of your other callers and commenters have made, is that Gibbs-White will be coming to Forest. This is devil's advocate, really. But they know that they're just going to have to wait till the final day. And they know that if they fail to get the bid through, Wolves are left with a player that's probably run his contract down. If he does have to play a role, he'll be a bit part player, and his value is going to decrease. So I think there might be a bit of a kind of a bit of a standoff here, which I think ultimately, I believe that Morgan Gibbs-White will be a player for Forest at some point. I think at this point I still do, but I don't think we're going to need to be spending much more. I think if we get to a point of playing, it'll be 25 plus a lot of bonuses, or it'll be a 30 flat deal, final offer right at the end of the window. Would be my.
I think to be honest, Tim, I think the standoff's already started, hasn't it?
Yeah,
I think, and you touched on the player power and what the player could do. I think ultimately that's what. For me, Morgan, and again, I don't know the ins and outs of this. I just like quality footballers. The ins and outs of this deal might boil down to the way what he wants, because he seems to have been the model professional. He's not said too much. I saw him play again. Well, I saw the highlights on Match of the Day of him play on Saturday. Played well. You know, from what I saw, he seemed to be involved in what they were doing. He celebrated the goal. There didn't seem any animosity amongst teammates. So again, as these things go on, as things transpire, you know, things happen, don't they? People say things. I thought as soon as Bruno Lage, or however you say his surname, put 50 million on, I thought Wolves were worried then. That's what you do when you're worried about losing your best player or one of your best players. Yeah. You put this big, unrealistic number on it and to try and scare it. It's like getting the dreaded vote of confidence, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. It is 100%.
It's almost trying to sort of say that this is not happening and we're not going to do this. But ultimately, I think it's going to be a slow burner. I think it'll happen. Of course, we're speaking about it because right now, you know, lots of us are excited about it. Lots of us are really excited by the signing, and it's a discussion point, and that's what we're here for, to talk about who's possibly coming in and out. And whilst Gibbs-White is creating all this conversation, Forest are probably going quietly about what they need to do behind the scenes to either get this deal done or moving on to look at others. But I can assure you, we'll be the last ones to know.
It will be 100%. Yeah.
All we can do is give our opinion and say how we'd like it to sort of pan out and where it'll go from there. So I think it's important just to sort of, again, I've used it quite a lot over the summer on DoreOnTour. Somebody's mentioned it tonight. Just enjoy the process. Just enjoy being linked with exciting players. I never thought we'd spend 30 million on a player. I never thought we'd bid 25 million on a player 3 weeks ago. But when you sort of look at everything in the cold light of day, when you look at what's been said by the owners, when you look at the intention that seemed to be showing with Gibbs White, because every time we're told a bid has been rejected, we're told they're still in talks.
Yeah.
There's something going on. There's lots of credible reporters talking about this. And for whatever we think about journalists, they don't generally get it wrong. They don't commit themselves. With the way social media is in this day and age, it's really hard to get something wrong and put it out there. So I think there's a lot of legs in it. There's a lot of discussions to be had, and a lot of sort of excitement toing and froing in the transfer market for us to sort of get excited about and enjoy, and that's what isn't it?
We just need a bit. I think, and again, there's so much to talk about with Forest. And I said one thing I was going to mention. Actually, I had a chat with a fellow Forest fan earlier on today, and he made a point. And again, it's a bit of a kind of a devil's advocate point. He's not being critical, because I know we're all very conscious, I think, of not being doom and gloom. And I know it's a real tough thing sometimes to kind of find that right place, like you mentioned, didn't you? After the game, there's a despondency. Then you settle into a kind of, and then you find a place where you can be a bit more level-headed. And then 7-8 days passes, then you got the next game, and then it will all begin again, the process of like however well we do against West Ham, whether we're good or not. But the point my friend made was his concern was that he went through the team and he went down, he mentioned Worrell, he mentioned Toffolo, he mentioned Yates, Colback, potentially a Garner characters, and he said, are these players too good for the Championship, but not good enough for the Premiership, and would almost be fitting into a sort of an intermediary league between the two? And his concern for Forest moving forward with some of the signings, not that they're bad players, but they're just maybe in that limbo zone that makes them not quite. I mean, obviously we watched Newcastle and we saw there was an incredible difference in understandably so. But also, what I will say as well is that Guimaraes changed that team dramatically from a club that was struggling badly. So I don't want to certainly be guilty of writing off players or complaining about Yates's. But I watched Forest last season, as we all did. And if there was an area that I thought we sometimes didn't dominate as much as we could have done, it wasn't in that midfield area. Even when we had a fully fit Yates and a Garner playing, sometimes teams could deal with us, especially away from home. So it wasn't a surprise to me to see a little bit of a struggle in that area. And I think a lot of your callers and your commenters have suggested that we need a bit of creativity and we need a Berger. For me, Sander Berger would be a good addition. He's played in the Premiership and he's got the physicality and he's got a bit of end quality product as well. And also one last thing, Loftus-Cheek's been mentioned a few times in the chat, and absolutely think he would be, injuries are the only issue I've got with Loftus-Cheek, but if he's 20 million, if that's what one of the guys or girls in the chat mentioned, that is a really good steal. That's a player that I think would make a huge difference to what Forest look like and what teams think about when they have to come up against us. So yeah,
well, I think that's an interesting point, because when I saw the name in the chat, I've been saying when I'm talking about the Newcastle game and how that panned out on Saturday, it was striking. The Premiership experience was striking. So while some people might go, oh, no, not Loftus-Cheek, and scoff at that kind of player, what players like that bring is a lot of Premiership experience. And whilst they're not playing at the big clubs anymore, they never quite broke through. That's no real shame, is it? Getting an opportunity at other teams. You've seen, don't always work. You've seen like Townsend when he went to Palace, Andros Townsend, he did really well. He scored a lot of goals coming in from the wing. And I'm not saying he's a brilliant player and someone we should go after. Definitely not. That he's probably a bit old now anyway in that sense.
But there's a point there.
It's like the Loftus-Cheek thing. There's lots about these players that could probably add something, because I am wondering if we're somewhere in between leagues at the moment. I want to be positive. I am positive. I'm really sort of excited about and thinking we can adapt to this. We can adjust. The club is still showing real intent on improving. That's if they weren't doing that. If they weren't looking at star players and we got beat comprehensively like we did on Saturday, it would be a little bit worrying. But we're not. We're looking to move on. And you mentioned that just before you go, of course, we've been on for a good 90 minutes now, but just before you go, the midfield positions, again, it's causing lots of conversation in the feed. Colback's passed it, or Colback needs to partner Mangala, or Brian's like this. So, and that's what football's all about, isn't it? But all we can keep doing, I said this all summer long, we can only keep watching the performances and seeing these players develop, make a mind up over 2, 3, 4, 6, 10 games and go, oh, we got a real good one there. Because it's really difficult sometimes over 1 or 2 in a new league with lots of expectation. Because we've all, I think, and I'm the first one to say it, we've all been a little bit guilty of getting carried away and feeling like we was going to take this thing by storm. I think I'm one of the most realistic people there is. But the reality is I probably did think, oh, well, we could go up there and get a point. We could sort of get 7 points from the first 3 games. But it's just not going to happen, isn't it? Is it? Because if we listen to the people we trust, namely Steve Cooper, he's been telling us in not so subliminal messages. He's been telling us for weeks, the squad's not good enough. We want more. There has to be more signings. He told us that the players coming off the bench or sat on the bench, they're not good enough. He said, and somebody used the term earlier, I think it might have been Wolverine, so it said about naivety, amongst the situation. And I think it's important to consider all that. People are throwing in Dennis and Sarr. They didn't keep Watford in the Premier League. So I'm not saying they're bad players, because I think they're both decent players. But you've got to have a mixture, and you've got to have some real sort of match winners within that team who are going to drag performances sort of out of nowhere. And I think Lingard's one of those. I think Gibbs White is another. And I'm hoping the likes of Mangala, is another who can really thrive and take us to that next level. But just to finish, mate, like I said, we have been talking for quite a while now.
Yeah, I appreciate you letting me on.
Sunday, what's going to happen? Let's finish on a positive.
Positive note. So we're going to go with the first home game, big occasion, massive game for Forest, especially the extra little bit of spice as well with the Lingard rivalry thing. There's always stories in football, aren't there? And it's another one for us to see how we can. He'll get a few criticisms, I should imagine, from the West Ham fans. But I mean, I think we will have to play in a different way. I think we'll have to start I think we'll have to be more front foot and go for it. I think Forest fans are very forgiving when they see teams playing and trying. So I'm gonna optimistically go for a 2-1. I'll go for that. I'm hoping for an Awoniyi first goal with a let's go Lingard Awoniyi 2-0 up after 75, and a late goal for Antonio, and then they can go home and he can be happy for his little bit. But I think let's get off on the front foot, get the crowd behind us. Early goal for Lingard, and everything's going to look a lot different. That's the optimism. You can't be optimistic with misty optics, as they say. So
absolutely. There's some nice comments coming in for you there as well. Someone said,
that's right. I've spent a lot of time following Forest. As I said, it's something that a bit like you, Des, it's effortless sometimes to talk about it, and forever and ever. It'd literally be 3-4 hours of this if people could stomach it. But I appreciate all the comments, and I'm always happy if given the opportunity to come on and share a passion with like-minded people that all want the best for a club that's definitely on the up. That's all we want. So yeah, thanks for everybody for that, and have a good night. And tomorrow's another day. More transfer news.
It is indeed. Hopefully this saga finds the end of the tunnel at some point. But no, really appreciate the call, Tim. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much, buddy. Take care.
Thank you. Another great call there. Really, really appreciate Tim's input. absolutely brilliant. He had a lot of good things to say, made a lot of sense, and that's what all this is about, isn't it? It's just about fleshing it out. Sometimes we all share an opinion on football. It's what sort of brings us together and what gets the juices going and enjoying what we do. Really, really enjoyed tonight's show. It's like I say, it's going to be the first of many. After a Forest game on a Saturday, I'll be on Monday. Dial in with Des. Like I said before, use a hashtag, put it on Twitter, share it about, let people know. All we're trying to do is attract people to the channel. Of course, YouTube's all about building. Mr. Door has done a fantastic job of doing that over the last 4 or 5 years, getting lots of followers, bringing people together. We've got such a great community. We've got a connection as well. Of course, you've seen the man himself, Kevin Campbell, popping in with comments. It's absolutely brilliant when we can hear what the ex-players have got to say. And Mr. Door's got a great relationship with so many people because of all his enthusiasm and his excitement and the fact that he just loves Forest. That's his world. That's our world. That's what we do. You guys looking in, hopefully you've been able to really, really enjoy what Monday night is all about now. Bournemouth fan looking in. Been a really interesting chat tonight. Guys, good job, Des and Tim. Really appreciate the comments. And just another one in. More Geordies coming in. Great atmosphere last Saturday. Your fans made it great too. Best of luck. Before I go, just a reminder to give this episode a like. We've had a constant 180, 170 people in throughout the show. That's been absolutely brilliant. The first one I've done on a Monday. Appreciate all the comments, everybody coming in, and there's some stuff in there that we wouldn't want to repeat, but keep doing it because we're not bothered. We're just happy to be in the Premier League. We're happy, we're positive, we're excited about what potentially could happen. If people disagree, if people want to say certain things, that's absolutely fine. We'll keep on supporting the Reds, doing what we do. Just to finish with a few of the comments coming in. Great show, mate. Again, thanks again for coming in, Wolverine. Mark says, great show tonight, Des. Thanks for having me on. Absolute pleasure. Warren, some of the guests, great job hosting tonight, Des. Thank you. John, Lee, I'm not looking for this praise, but I really appreciate the feedback, guys. We're back next Monday for something similar, hopefully to celebrate a win. And I was looking for one last comment there. Somebody said, does Mr. Door only have you on when we get beat? Well, it seems like that, doesn't it? It seems that he only has me on here when Forest get beat. So it'd be nice to come on after a win. So hopefully on Sunday we'll do that. The City ground will be rocking. We'll have 1 or 2 new signings in, whoever they are. You'll definitely know if they get the ones I want. But whoever they are, we're looking forward to seeing what the lineup is and really, really taking things that step forward, getting behind the boys, getting behind Steve Cooper, getting behind the decisions of the club and supporting the Reds onto whatever degree of success we get. We're here to stay, guys. Hopefully I'm here to stay on a Monday. Again, like the episode, subscribe to DoreOnTour, get him up to 10K, tell your friends, share it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to Do Daily. I'd love it if I could get an influx of followers just to build me up a little bit. I've still got to go out and do my daily vlog, because I've done this for him. But that's absolutely amazing. Can't wait to see you again. Until next week, have a fantastic one. Tune in to Mr. Door for his preview of the West Ham game. His vlogs, of course, the Newcastle one. Do check that out. First one of the season. And, of course, all the vlogs from pre-season and before. Some really great content, what you won't want to miss. Really, really enjoy it. Until next time, I'm just looking for the thing I have to press. Up the...